So we are here once again here on Couch Coach Live with some breaking news here. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. So let's do a breaking news where we had Nikola Jokic has won his third MVP in 4 years. This season he averaged 26.4 points per game, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. He had 25 triple doubles this season and 68 double doubles. He's the
Wow.
ninth player in NBA history to win more than 3 MVPs. So he joins
Mm-hmm.
elite company with his third MVP. What's
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts on Nikola Jokic being the MVP named him?
Congratulations, man. He played more than 65 games and stayed consistent. Um, I think he is actually one of the ones that's actually trying to change the game to an old school style rather than consistently on the 3 point line. So, but hey, man, congratulations.
Yeah, another great feat for him, and and it's funny when they named the MVP. Shaq had a conundrum because obviously he wanted SGA to win this award, but I just look
Mm-hmm.
at Jokic, and I understand that people say with SGA he had the number 1 seed,
Mm-hmm.
but all seriousness, that Minnesota, Denver, and OKC had identical records. It was basically a tiebreaker. So any of them could have
Right.
potentially been the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. So I mean, you can't deny a guy of that stature. I mean, you look at the double double, pretty much averaging 12 rebounds and then 26 points per game, a little over
Mm-hmm.
26. Yeah, I mean, you just can't deny it. I mean, he had the stats, and like you said, he played more than the 65 games that's needed to win this award. So you just, I
Right.
mean, there's no on my end. There's no gripes. I mean, hey, he had a very efficient year this year. So you had to give him. I mean, we look at the finalists between as far as when you look at the finalists between Jokic, SGA, and Luca. I think he's the most deserving of those three. So, man, and it came to fruition, and he definitely now joins elite company. It's going to definitely be interesting as his career goes forward, and
Mm-hmm.
how many MVPs he will continue to win, and how and what he will be doing going forward. But congratulations to Jokic, man.
Right.
One thing is, hey, I don't know you could be able to. I don't know if your home fans gonna be able to see you win the MVP award, player. I mean, it looks like it might be a. Oh no, you may not be going back to Denver, but we're gonna talk about that tonight. We're gonna talk about that tonight. So we'll talk about that. So we'll talk about our second round takeaways. We'll talk about that. Gilbert Arenas once again foaming at the mouth about about Rudy Gobert. We'll talk about that. We'll even talk about the potential the end of the inside NBA and all that, the sadness that may occur this time next year. So low key kind of bracing ourselves for that. So we'll talk about that. Um, and then what we'll do, we'll get in. We'll talk about someone in your house, Maui. We'll talk about the Lakers. What's next for them as far as who will be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll dive into that, which could be a very complex subject. So
Right. Right.
what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick that intro, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live.
Yeah.
And we're back here on Couch Coach Live. This week's Couch Coach Live is powered by SeatGeek. Head to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code Couch Coach to get yourself $20 off your first purchase. So, now we're getting into the not semifinal, but we're getting into the second round of the NBA playoffs. As you know, if you're listening to us live, obviously we got the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks squaring off as we speak, as we're going live now. And if you listen to the recorded version of it, the second round will still be going on. So we'll go around the horn. We'll talk about our second round takeaways. Any first round takeaways that you got?
I didn't really do too much first round. I did like second round.
Second
The
round,
first
yeah.
round, I watched the Lakers. I didn't watch too much of other teams, but once I realized that Phoenix, like Steph, Kevin Durant, and LeBron, and all these old guys are not going to be in the playoffs. So I'm like, okay, going to the second round, I'm like, damn, if Denver lose and Boston lose, like this is going to be crazy. It's going to really be really like young teams in the playoffs, and I'm so intrigued to see who will win, and what are they going to do in the off season with these big name stars that didn't make it to the playoffs. So I'm gonna start with the Timberwolves. Bottom line is the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, 106-80. Bottom line it was the turnovers and the assists. Like you would think the Nuggets would have had more assists than the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves had 28 assists, and the Nuggets had 16. But the Nuggets also was 29 from 83 shots, and the Timberwolves was 42 from 84. At the free throw line, definitely the Nuggets was on top, but that defense is just, for them not to have, one of the important players, that defense was just swarming. And the crazy thing about that is, and we're going to talk about in the next one how important that player is, because in the first game, Cat got in foul trouble, and in the third quarter when the Nuggets was making a run, Cat was doing ticky tack fouls, and then it started really having me pay attention to the MVP and how important it is to have your hands in a certain position, or he's going to get those fouls. I also watched the Pacers and the Knicks game, and the bottom line with that is the Knicks is playing out of their mind. Halliburton's got to make more than 6 points. If Halliburton can give you 20 points, and I think was it Sakium, I think his name is, the guy that used to play for the Raptors. He got a championship, and he won. He's one of the reasons why they won. The Raptors won that championship. So if he got 19 points, if he can get more, man, if he was able to get 30 points, they might have won that game also. And then I'm gonna go to the Mavs and the Thunder, and bottom line is that 15 turnovers, to 9. So and then the rebounds, Thunder out rebound them 52-39. You know, and I think the Mavs have um, so much potential, but I think they feed off of Luca. And Luca, to me, he can score his ass off, but he just comes off lazy. So when he's dribbling the ball and you put your hand in there, he's so slow. Like, is he really going to drop down? And he did. That happened in the game, and it was a turnover. And he barely moved when So I don't know. I really feel like the Thunder is probably going to sweep them, or do it in 5. But my takeaway is, you know, these older guys, these older players are going to have to find an extra battery pack, because these young guys are not afraid of them, and they trust in one another, and they better step up. They're going to be going home early. Coach. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay.
so I think the biggest thing, I look at it, I look at the Nuggets on the brink. I think they're a situation where you look at what they have done in the 2 games at home, the
Right.
way in the way they lost to Minnesota in those fashions. So you look at how Minnesota dominated those games. defensively, physically, almost
Right.
similar to kind of what they did in the Phoenix series. And now you look at how they frustrated the Denver Nuggets. You look at even to a point where Jamal Murray was throwing stuff on, throwing stuff in the trajectory of said officials. So you look at that. As well, you look at it. I think you look at OKC. Look at what they've been doing. Obviously, getting that important win
Right.
last night, holding the Mavericks 16 points in the fourth quarter. You just
Right.
look at just from that point of SGA doing his thing, 29 points last night. Jalen Williams, uh, the ultimate sidekick at this point when it comes to that duo, and they're another young, exciting team. Where I think it's funny. We always made the joke of you know all your favorite guys are going to get drafted. It's going to go to OKC, and now you're looking at those kind of guys that we once joked about. As far as
Right.
all them getting those first round picks and what have you, but it turned into like Chet, return
Right.
to Jalen Williams, and those guys. So now that all coming to fruition. I think with this Knicks and Pacers, I think this is gonna the rivalry is back between these two. You look at it
Right.
just from a standpoint, it's gonna be kind of if there's a most likely for a series to go to 7 games, it's gonna probably be this one. When
Right.
you look at it, both physical games. That's one thing too. When you just look at it, you got a 6 point effort in Halliburton, and you think it's a wow. I mean, I mean, it's still, I'm like, hey, once he goes off, and he'll go off in this series, and then it can definitely, definitely be very interesting for them. Then we have the Celtics and the Cavs. I think that's going to be kind of one of those where I'm going to judge it as the series progresses. You look at Cavaliers coming off of that emotional win, not emotional, but more so of just the effort that was exerted in that matchup against Orlando Magic. Now, fast forward having to travel to Boston and get that as well. So it's too early to tell about that one so far this year.
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, Key. Yeah,
Okay. Say something one more time.
yeah. All right, testing. I'm here, so we'll talk about second round takeaways. You able to hear me?
Oh, I'm having a problem. Like,
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So what we're gonna do? So as we transition, so we'll talk about next topic. So and we talk about a series
can I ask,
between Denver and Minnesota.
right.
Huh?
Can I ask a quick question?
What happened? What's wrong?
Do you think
Yeah.
that that Murray should have been suspended?
Now, I mean, it's the playoffs. It's kind of like almost a Russell Westbrook Lucas situation where the playoffs you kind of let stuff go
Okay.
in a sense. I mean, I'm not gonna be like Stephen A. Smith and gonna call the league office and ask why they didn't suspend him.
Hey, cruddy. I'm gonna say this.
But yeah,
With the Nuggets too. One more thing. I think what's the name? Brown that played last year for them. I think it was anyway. I think it was
Bruce
Brown
Brown.
and Jeff Green. I feel like you see the
Yeah,
importance of
Bruce
them
Brown.
because I think if Jeff Green played in Houston, and I think that's the problem with these last these last teams that have won the championships. I think I want to say since 2019, maybe like 2019 or maybe 2018. I feel like they have important guys that they let go. They should have kept and make because you got to have a strong bench. Like look at my man from the Knicks that played for the Warriors. That play I can't I don't want to mess his last name up. The redhead dude that played for Villanova with the fellas.
Oh, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo. I think I said Jeff Green. Um, Kuzma. There's a lot of players that played on PJ Tucker, like I said, for the Bucks, that you kind of wish, like, damn, you should have resigned them and kept the same championship team together and like added pieces to cover that. Because when you're looking at the Nuggets now, they don't really have a bench that's going to be you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like Joker
Yeah,
might have to be out there and play 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
league MVP.
Right.
Hey, like I say,
right.
all right, all right. All right. So what we'll do is transition to the next topic. So basically, we talked about the Timberwolves and the Nuggets series earlier. Now,
Mhm.
um, we talked about pretty much the Timberwolves winning in convincing fashion these last two games. So game two was on Monday, and Rudy Gobert was out game two, and due to personal reasons, which the personal reason was to witness the birth of his first child, to be with his wife. So obviously, we get these topics from time to time where guys make the option either they leave to witness the birth of the child or they play and vice versa. So this isn't new as far as it, but Gilbert Arenas had an interesting take about Rudy Gobert missing time on Monday due to the birth of his son. So we'll play the clip from Gil's Arena. Definitely huge shout out to those guys at Gil's Arena. They doing their thing. Before we play the clip, just fair use, fair use, fair use. So we can play that clip right now, and let's get that going.
We hope.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying the baby gonna be trusted.
but unnecessary.
The baby gonna it don't know whatever you about to think you about to do with the baby. He gonna be asleep.
Need that skin to skin contact.
Okay, you ain't get skin to skin in 2 days.
Right on the titty. The whole time, right on the titty.
I'm saying,
Need some milk.
Like I get you want to be with your wife and smile and stuff, and your good NBA healthcare insurance.
Right.
It's because of you playing.
Right. Trust me, they got everything. So first child. Right.
Maybe,
right.
yeah.
All right, so we'll roll that clip. So then I want to play a clip from Club Shay Shay. Shout out to Shan Sharp and Ocho and everybody there. So we're gonna play that clip momentarily. Once again, this one yet again, fair use, fair use.
Not trying to
Rudy Gobert.
cause trouble, but I got to know what you guys think of Gil take on Gobert shouldn't have missed the game for the birth of his child. It all depends. If it's a playoff game, we can have another baby.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it to the playoffs.
That's
if it's a
right.
Super Bowl, I'm damn sure ain't missing that. In Rudy's case, the baby was born, and I'm hoping that mother and child was okay.
I'm out of there.
Once I find
I'm
out
gone.
mother and child is
I'm
okay,
gone.
I think it's his
Different
first
mindset.
child. So
Hey, let him get to number 2. He might FaceTime. He might Zoom the whole thing
but Ocho, that's
Right.
something
with her.
that you need to have
Right.
discussed beforehand. So therefore,
Right.
when it happens, nobody's
Right,
surprised.
I'm playing. I ain't missing no game.
Hey, get it in July. So guess what? The off season, the baby come out in the off season.
I'm
Guys,
like-
y'all gotta play a little
like-
better. I'm gonna be there for the birth. Once you okay, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Just know, NBA Finals, push, baby, push.
You gotta breathe.
Come on, baby. You
You gotta
doing so
breathe.
good. Not trying to cause trouble.
So we've played 2 of the clips. What's your thoughts on Gilbert Arenas' comments on Rudy Gobert missing game 2?
I watched the whole thing, and I think if Gil's part wasn't even that big, it was Kenyon Martin's take was the best take. He got 6 kids. Gil is silly, and he was just trying to, make a joke out of situation. But bottom line is what he said was, I've never heard this before, where a player don't play because of something like this. You know what I mean? So he said it's not what we're used to. Also, Mark Jackson was there and he spoke on it. So I didn't really have a problem. I think, we all know, they all think I'm playing in the playoffs. Like we playing the champions. I'm playing. You know what I mean? I'm the defensive player of the year too. So I'm definitely trying to. I'm playing. You know what I mean? Like we just beat the team that has beat the Lakers that has LeBron James for the last 10 times and won the championship in the year before. Everybody's saying how dominant they are. They're picking them to win the championship. And we just beat them at home and didn't look tired. Like it's a bunch of pluses. So that's my take. I didn't really have an issue with what he said. He was trying to make a joke, but I know I'm playing.
It depends on the circumstance for me. I mean, I've never experienced that before. I think with especially the first, because if I was to
Right.
have a child, it would be my
Right.
first child. So I think from a civilian standpoint, obviously, that won't be a problem for me because obviously there's such thing called paternity leave
Right.
in my world. So
Right.
I get so it's gonna so how I look at it might be a little bit different. And like with Gil Cummings, I necessarily didn't like, obviously there are a point where everybody gets so up in arms of what
Right.
Gilbert Arenas says. And like I said, I
Right.
think I understand for him, he brings that type of funniness. He brings, I call it like levity in any type of situation. Like if
Right.
it's something that's a serious situation, he brings that type of levity where I don't necessarily take his words for a grain of salt.
Right.
And I think it just depends on the circumstance. And I think who really made the great point. That's why I wanted to bring up Shannon Sharp's point, where it just depends on the magnitude of the game.
Right.
To me, like a playoff game of that magnitude with Rudy Gobert. Now, if it was a game 7, okay, we playing this game. A game 2, I'm like, nah. I mean, hey, I could miss game 2. We be all right if we go to Minnesota tied. We cool.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those. And the NBA is a little bit different. I think if you were to miss like a game 7, I mean, the only thing I think those stipulations maybe the NBA finals, maybe the conference finals, and in the game 7 within those rounds. Now the NFL is a lot different. Where I think if I was an NFL player, and the playoffs are one and done, so it's not like a 7-game series versus the NBA. The NFL is like, okay, you can lose one game and you're totally out of the actual out of the playoffs. So I look at it from that standpoint. So it's two different worlds. I think but more so on the Rudy Gobert case, I mean, I'm cool with him missing game 2, and obviously it worked out in his favor. So I mean, it's just one of those where, I'm cool with it. I know, like you said, Gil just saying what he got to say, and that's how he rolls. He tries to be entertaining as much as he can. But if I'm, I didn't have a problem with it at all, either with Gil or with Rudy.
Right. If you watch the whole joint, Gil spoke on that something like that happened to him too, and he was in Phoenix, and he said he flew. He said he flew from Phoenix to DC, and then he said he stayed, and then he came back. But I was tripping too because I'm like, Minnesota. We worked on the road, so you would think that's far, but Minnesota and Colorado is not that far. Like,
it's a 90-minute flight,
right?
Yeah, it's 90 minutes.
Excuse me, but to go into more detail, and nobody's doing that. They said the baby was born early, like in the morning, and the game was in the, you know what I mean? And it's like that's really the subject is like he still could have did both, you know what I mean? And so Kenyon was speaking on that. Even he said he had and it was like in March, he had a baby that was supposed to be due, I think in June or July, so it was premature. And he said the baby was so small he could hold it in his hand. He said he did what he needed to do, and he still and he was gone. You know what I mean? Because he said and also that's another thing we have to understand. The world is changing, and a guy like Kenyon Martin, and we all know he's a kind of an alpha male. You know what I mean? So he like, man, I got to go to work. This is what I've been working for. When Rudy, not saying Rudy's not like that, but Rudy comes off a little, a little more, to me, a little more playful and gentle than that. And he probably was like, I get it. I mean, I had my first child, and I didn't go to work the next day when I was supposed to. I get it. You know what I mean? But if I was playing in the NBA, I would have went because it's 2024 and we have helicopters. We have Mark Jackson said he would have flew in the team's jet. You know what I'm saying? To New York and then came back. So there's ways around it, man. It's 2024.
Yeah. And it's true. And then did not to kind of shifted another focus where, even though she may, we don't know if there may have been some complications or something that happened that day too. So, and I think, so that's why I think if how it played out, I think he would have just flown, but I don't know. And it could have been some other circumstances that could have potentially happened with that. So, I mean, I think, if it's one of those, and even like with Shannon Sharp's point, where it's like, well, the planning, and I think there was, and obviously I would assume there was discussion between Rudy and I don't know if that's his wife. I think that is his wife. I think he's married, but I'm not sure if he's married girlfriend, whoever, whatever. But I think as long as you communicate it with her, and like you said, and I know Shannon said you can plan it, but it's kind of one of the things where it's hard for you to plan like that because, like you said, you talked about a situation where I think the baby was supposed to be due in June and it came in March.
Right.
So things like that can happen.
Thank God they won.
I know because this would this almost would have been like. This would have saved Vince Carter because remember Vince Carter went to his graduation and they lost. Like then just imagine how that happened in 2001. This is before the advent of the major 24-hour sports news cycle. I mean, we still had it, but it's not like what it is now, or the social media era. So yeah, thank God they won. So I think it would have been a different story. I think if they would have lost, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, and everything's different. I just know in my real life, I wouldn't have this problem. So but I know I'm thinking more so from an athlete's perspective. I think it would be kind of difficult for me to kind of, but yeah, it would be one of those where I would, like you said, if it was born early in the morning, go and fly to wherever I need to go, and then especially since the series moves back to Minnesota, he could have, went to Denver and then came back to Minnesota that same night or whatever. But it is what it is. But
hey, you coach. So I know you remember. You coach. Wasn't it something with Derek Fisher? Something was wrong with his daughter, and then he came back like in the middle of the game.
Yeah, he got. I think his daughter was like, I don't know what she was sick. Like she was really really sick. And I think that was a playoff game. I think my memory serves correct. I think they were playing. I think they were playing Utah.
No, he was playing in Utah, I thought.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because that's why he went to Utah because they had it was a special like some type of like a hospital that was able to take care of his daughter. Yeah.
Right, and then he was able to come. He was able to make it. I think they was like he just got off the plane or the plane. They was showing that he was coming. Fans stood up. You know what I'm saying? And but like regardless, they won the first game. I think even questions is I wonder what his teammates said. They was asking, what do you think the team said? But I think deep down it's Rudy Gobert, and I think he has a little reputation, and they played so well without him. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, to me, what I was saying last time, Cat almost messed it up, even though they was playing well, because I believe if he'd have gotten foul trouble and took him out, it probably would have been a problem. You know what I mean? Because Anderson kept telling him, man, we need you. Stop, doing tick-attack foul, putting your hands out there. Can't do that against Joker. You know what I mean?
Shoot. Forget them teammates. Shoot. When Draymond Green was about to kill me, if I was 2 or 3 seconds away, I would have been dead. I wouldn't have been able to see my son being born. I'd have been like family first. Because y'all fools did not come in, like how like you talking about some Amanda Seals talking about somebody that not protecting her. Wow. He need to be on Club Shay talking about all protect them against Draymond Green. And I was gonna pull the clip from Draymond Green saying what he had to say. But I was like, to me, it's too much bad blood between them.
Because he wasn't rude though. He wasn't rude.
He won't rude, but I think sometimes it can get skewed. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like they got bad blood. It's not like they're not guys that's gonna give each other Christmas cards at the end of the year. They don't like each other. So it's kind of like when he come from that angle, you're like, is this actually coming from a genuine place, or it's kind of one of those that it's like it's coming from hate? Yeah, he didn't say much. But just the fact that he said what he had to say, I'm like, where did it really come from? Like, what's the root of that? Yeah, because it is what it is. I mean, Yeah. Right. So speaking of keeping on to Rudy Gobert, so Rudy Gobert has won the Defensive Player of the Year this year. So he joins Dikembe Mutombo and Ben Wallace, Virginia University stand-up, as the only guys to win Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. So Rudy Gobert, so he led essentially the team. You look at Minnesota, they were first in defensive ranking and points per game allowed.
Right.
So he had 9.2 defensive rebounds per game this year, and then 2.1 steals, which is sixth in the league. What's your thoughts on Rudy Gobert winning his fourth Defensive Player of the Year? And do you think someone else could have potentially won it, maybe a Victor Wembanyama or Bam Adebayo? What you thinking?
No, I'm going with Rudy. If anything, if I wouldn't have said it would have been Rudy, I probably wouldn't have went AD or Joker. You know what I mean? From a big man, standpoint, playing in the shadows, blocks, things of that nature, clogging up the clogging up the middle and things of that. That's what I kind of like. So, but I'm not mad at Rudy. One thing that you could say, that's what he's good at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to me, it falls on the line. I know people will say, "Oh, yeah, this is an individual award," but also you got to look at the team success as well. He was
Right.
the anchor of a team that had as far as when it comes to the defensive rating, like probably one of the top defensive teams in the league. So he he literally anchors that defense. And I know people, and of course, the talk was a lot of definitely when it came to Victor Wembanyama. I know a lot of people looked at him because I think he led the league in blocks. You look at look at San Antonio defensively; they were like 21st,
Right.
and then Bam. You look at Bam. He averaged nearly over 10 defensive rebounds in a game per game this year. And that defense, they were the top 5 defensive team in the Miami Heat.
Right.
So I look, obviously with those 3 were the finalists. So I think in my personal opinion, I think I'm cool with the Rudy Gobert thing. I mean, you just look at from and it's just like everything. I mean, it's like we talked about like the MVP situation where you're gonna have guys that are gonna have potentially better stats in a sense in certain categories. But I think when you look at how he was essentially the anchor for this Minnesota team defensively, you got to give him that. And I know people going to, and I've heard talk today as far as him now being lumped in with the Dikembe Mutombos and Ben Wallace's. I'm like, you don't necessarily have to lump them in just because they won the same award, but they won the award in 3 different eras. Obviously, Dikembe won in his time, Ben Wallace won in his time, and Rudy Gobert won in his time. So that's the thing I hate about people saying, well, when you put these guys together, no, they're in different eras. I can understand if they were peers, like if you compared him to maybe like a Draymond Green or Kawhi Leonard in that ilk. But in this case, I mean, when the smoke clears in this NBA landscape, I'm not gonna look at them and say, hey, well, those 3 guys, I'm gonna lump them all together. The only way that you'll lump them together because of this award. But when you look at it from just their attributes alone, I'm not gonna associate these 3 and stuff like they're like, oh yeah, he's the next Dikembe Mutombo or he's the next Ben Wallace. No, that's not gonna happen here.
Right.
But like I said, I'm cool with it, and like it's like, and it was fair. I mean, you just look at it, and this award is always the trickiest of them all.
Right.
Where as far as because I can't. Well, I should have did this before the show, but I'm definitely gonna be curious and do some homework on it again. It's like as far as who voted for what. I mean, as far as how many because this defense and this award, I always think sometimes when I always wonder, like, when these voters vote for this, do they really take this like this award in particular like seriously? So it's kind of when I want to really see the breakdown of this vote, like, and I should have did this beforehand, but now thinking about it, like I really want to see how and who voted for who.
Right.
That's gonna be really interesting.
Right. I think the same thing because I was hearing people speak on it and they was like, it's a really hard it's not hard, it's like an illusional category because a lot of times when people get their blocks, now I'm gonna tell you something, the person who gonna revolutionize is gonna be Wemby. Because Wemby,
Yeah.
you literally try to shoot in front of it, he could block your shot. And ain't a lot of people doing that. You know what I mean? You know, and his wingspan, he's gonna be to lock somebody down and block their shot.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. So, but a lot of it is based upon what your team is doing too. You know what I mean? Like, one of the best defensive players I ever seen was Bruce Bowen. Has he ever won Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't that I recall.
Right. And he was, to me, whoever he stuck, he locked down to me. What about Ron Artest?
I don't even know.
But you would think he would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and those might have been those years. That's why it's weird. Like in that time period, it's probably that was really the era of Ben Wallace, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I want to look that up now. Because because it's yeah, I don't even know. I don't think he's ever won him, Bruce Bowen or Ron Artest. I don't think so. And if they did, it might have been,
Right.
So let's see. So Ron Artest won in 03, 04.
Okay.
So he won. Let's see. No Bruce Bowen. Yeah, but Ron Artest won one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, because he was sandwiched between Ben Wallace, because Ben Wallace won in 01, 02, then 02, 03, Ron Artest in the middle. And then Ben Wallace. So that's how he got his 4. I knew he was in that era. And that's probably, like you said, when it comes to Bruce Bowen, probably because of, you look at, a perimeter defender like Ron Artest at the time, and then you look at Ben Wallace in his era. I didn't even know Marcus Camby won one. Yikes. But the only thing I thought about, and it's weird because, like you said, and I know people were saying like, Wemby should win it, but I'm like, dude, Wemby is gonna win that award for the next 15 years. Y'all don't trip. Like, he gonna win that award for probably the next 15 years or so.
Right.
And what's scary about all this coming forward for the Olympics, you got Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama playing for the French national team. For France this year. I'm like, whoa. We in for a world of trouble in the Olympics. Man, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy to watch them two play together.
That's weird that you would say that. Do you not to be on conspiracy? Because you got Steph, KD, AD, and LeBron. Aren't they all playing in the Olympics this summer?
Yeah.
And
they gonna be resting.
And that's exactly what I said. I said, man, I wonder if that's what that. I'm not saying that's the plan, but I'm like, that shit sure look funny to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like,
but they needed that rest. That's how I couldn't imagine any of them going through a finals run that end probably the third week of June.
Even
and
Kawhi.
then I don't think. Yeah, well, I don't think Kawhi should play.
Or
I don't think he should play because you need to get somebody who in there that's gonna be healthy for a good considerable stretch. I mean, it's not nothing on knocking up, but I mean, we know Kawhi in his knees and in his past, like it's gonna be
out there healthy as hell.
it's gonna be a miracle. I really want to see how he walks when he's like 40, 50 years old. I'm serious, like as far as because it's I just hope that as far as I look at his long-term future at this point now, I forget about all the NBA stuff. I just wanted to make sure that he gonna be be walking pretty good in his 40s and 50s the way things are going, because it's that bad with that. But it's gonna be definitely interesting to see that those two in the Olympics. But it's gonna be fun. That's another one that cannot wait. That's about 2 months from now.
Right.
So we'll definitely get that going. So speaking of the Olympics, obviously the
Oh,
uh, 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 Olympics will be on NBC, and we'll be on NBC. And what I don't think NBC might be killing some people's dreams. Not killing dreams, but more so the NBC could be ending in a potential Mount Rushmore television show of all time. So the NBA is lining up their next media rights deal. So TNT, which is a parent company of Warner Brothers, is on the verge of losing its potential media rights that they've held since 1989.
Mm.
So TNT, their deal ends next season, and NBA and NBC has jumped in with a $2.5 billion offer to carry NBA games. It's unsure if TNT, well, Warner Brothers slash TNT will come up with the $2.5 billion to outbid or at least match the bid from NBC. What it could potentially do for the actual crew when we talk about Kenny, Ernie, Shaq, and Kenny. So Barkley could sign with another network because he does have a in his clause where he could be a free agent essentially if TNT doesn't cover the NBA.
Uh-huh.
Ernie, they're thinking that Ernie more than likely would stay with TNT because he does other stuff with the network, not just inside the NBA. He's a mainstay. He's probably he's been with TNT forever essentially. And then Kenny and Shaq, their situation is unknown as far as their deal because obviously those guys signed deals in 2022 in the hopes of getting the new TV, having been a part of the new TV deal, and for the 2025 and 2026 season and all the seasons going forward. So it looks like this inside the NBA might be on life support, and we might have one more year of this. What's
That's
your thoughts
crazy.
on it?
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And it's weird because I was sitting there and I'm starting to see they have Candace Parker here, they have this person here, and I'm watching and they got this guy. I think he's on Shaquille O'Neal's podcast, um, as like in the Ernie's place sometimes, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I'm like,
yeah,
he's not Ernie though, like you know what I mean? I'm like, Ernie got that Bob Parker feel, like when he up there, like,
yeah.
so damn man, I don't know what to say, like. I was thinking it was gonna be on some streaming stuff. Like they could still bring them and put them. I mean, they have an Amazon deal, like or something like that. And I'm like, damn, it sucks.
I don't know because I know it's probably if NBC get it, it'd be on Peacock, but
Right.
yeah, and I find it interesting because it's unfortunate. I think it'll hit me next year, but it's gonna suck. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's the thing and the thing people when when you think about creating a concept for a show, the inside the NBA is your blueprint. You want to have a situation where you're entertaining and informative and funny.
Right.
They check all the boxes, and those guys, that chemistry, you can't replicate that type of chemistry. You've seen so many different shows that try to emulate them, but they're not them. And I think I think that's the sad thing about all this is we're literally gonna lose out on probably one of the greatest NBA shows. Hell, might be the one of the best sports shows that we've ever have had.
Mm-hmm.
They're like to me, like your parents. They used to watch Johnny Carson. Some of our
Right.
parents might have watched Jay Leno. All those guys. That's to me. That's my late night television. That's my late night, show where it's just like you stay for the highlight. You stay for the games, but you stay longer for the inside the NBA because you just
Right.
really want to, and all the different segments that they have. Obviously, I love the one that who he played for, so they always stump Chuck because and it's always a great test of your NBA knowledge. Like, okay, where's this person at? And so it make you realize have you paid attention in the off during the off season. So that's a fun game and just all kind of stuff. I think it's gonna be heartbreaking when they do, because because those four are never gonna be together the way it seems. Because to me, I know people say, well, Barkley can go anywhere, but can Barkley replicate it? And I'm not trying to say like not talking, and I don't want to kind of not confuse, but you look at like he had a show with King Charles, and it flopped.
Right.
So it's like one of those things, like, some things you just can't replicate. And then Ernie, I think, even if say for instance, if Kenny, Shaq, and Barkley go together, people gonna really realize how important Ernie Johnson really is. He's the engine that keeps this show going, because they can really go off the rails, but he keeps them in. Because like today was a perfect example when Shaq went on the tangent about SGA should have won, and then he talked about previous years, and Ernie reeled him in like, "Hey, we're not talking about previous years. We talk about today.
Right.
Will someone, in a sense, not the moderator, but like the moderator / host, will that person can check a Shaq and say something like that, and keep him in line, and keep him, and he does that with everybody, and it's not just this is just an example from today."
Right.
But and it's one of the things. But I think it's gonna happen, because honestly, I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know if when you watch the games, they get that DraftKings commercial with Kevin Hart, and he playing the NBA NBC song "Round Ball Rock"
Right.
by a guy John Tesh.
Right.
Why is that coming back around? Because they know NBC about to get that, and it's just like, come on, like. And I've always wanted NBA to come back on NBC, but not at the expense of losing inside the NBA. So it's kind of one of the things: be careful what you ask for, and when you ask for something, be intentional. So next time I ask for something of that nature, make sure don't cut the best show on television out.
You think they're gonna try to get them?
I mean, they probably can get the they
I
probably
got
can
that
get
part. Yeah.
Kenny. Yeah, they probably can get Kenny, Shaq, and Chuck. The only thing is, could they get Ernie?
Right.
And it's a possibility, and I hope they do, because I think it's got to be those. It's got to be those four. Like, to me, if there was some people, at least it got to be Ernie and Chuck. If it's something where, okay, if I had to sacrifice, this is like the kind of the how can I say it? Almost like the Titanic type situation. Keep Chuck, keep Ernie. In my personal opinion, if I had to save two, Chuck and Ernie, because they're the two that keeps it going. Because I mean, in my personal opinion, I like Kenny. I like all four of them. But if it was,
I think I don't like Shaq. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want the original. Shaq can go somewhere else.
I mean, yeah, like I said, if it was somebody that could be saved, it would be Chuck and Ernie. Like, I like Kenny too, because obviously Kenny's been around for 25 years.
Right.
Kenny was really like the OG of it, and him and
Right.
Ernie, they used to do. Yeah, this is but yeah, it's gonna really, and it's crazy that this happening. And essentially, I don't want to say they prime, but God, this would really truly suck, because this is the show. This is the show I think that just keeps the NBA relevant. Like, this is why I will watch an NBA game in December on a Thursday. Because of them.
Right.
Because if it was just, and that's the thing where it's almost like the inverse of how I look at like the Amazon crew for football.
Right.
I like the games, but do I necessarily like the commentary after the game? It's cool, but it ain't,
You're talking about this. What's the team? I think they might have came from Fox. Okay. The quarterback from the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, Troy and Buck.
Didn't we had this conversation before? And didn't they move? Did they move from Fox to ESPN or something?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think I'm trying to remember a discussion you was having, because I know they paid Troy a lot of money.
Yeah,
they was paying him a lot of money.
think at the time, I think he got paid 15. I think.
Yeah, something like there was a lot of money. I remember you talking about it. So do you see a difference between when they was on Fox and when they was on ESPN?
It's just probably on a bigger scale. I mean, obviously, I think. I mean, I still like. I think they had to make a splash because they're another one where they're trying to make a move and make a bid for the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say the loud part out loud. What they had prior to Troy Buck was not gonna land them a Super Bowl. I love Booger. I love Booger. I love Booger. But that wasn't gonna cut it. I love Louis Riddick.
Uh-huh.
I like all those guys. What was it? Steve Levy. I love those guys. But they weren't gonna put ESPN in a position to get a Super Bowl or at least compete for a Super Bowl as far as when it comes to bidding of it. Right. I do see a difference. Obviously, I think I see more of a difference in a good way because I think they're the Monday night game. So obviously, to contrast of them being that 4:25 game on Fox on Sundays, there is a difference, and I think it brings a lot of difference to ESPN for sure. They needed those kind. They needed that type of that surge. But
so. Yeah. I guess because if it's on NBC, they might have to put it on Peacock if they have it. Because I think putting it on NBC, Chuck can't talk how he wants to talk. You know what I mean? They can't speak about things comfortably like they can on TNT, which comes on late.
Yeah.
So I would think their best bet is to put it on Peacock, which might help. Might help everybody go get Peacock.
And it's going up $7.99, going up $1 because of the Olympics.
Right. What'd you say?
It's going up $1 for the Olympics.
That's crazy.
So it's $7.99.
That's crazy.
And guess what's gonna happen? Let NBA get that deal next year. Guess what? Your Peacock gonna be about $10, $15. And it's gonna keep rising. And it's the same story that we talked about in the first year about this. It's going to keep on. It's going to plateau and it's going to keep going up because it's going to happen. Then you're going to get those exclusive games in the NFL, then in the NBA, like you said. Yeah. So yeah, like and like you said, they can't do all this stuff like NBC. Kenny can't walk out because of what happened in Milwaukee in the bubble. They're gonna tell him to back in that seat. They were for NBC. I mean, we just keeping 1,000.
Hey,
NBC. They don't play with that type of stuff.
Kenny walk like Spike Lee.
Yeah, man.
Excuse me.
But yeah, man, So I hope TNT or Warner Brothers I hope Warner Brothers do something and get this squared away because we need inside the NBA.
Yeah.
We need that. We need to save it. If not, NBA landscape is gonna be trash.
Right.
You know.
How would you feel if they had them three had like TNT put me? I guess they can't. They gotta have the rights to the NBA. I'm gonna like put something like on YouTube.
I know. So, I think if worse come to worse, at least we should have the Steam Room, the podcast with Chuck and Ernie. At the end of the day, if it all goes down, can we still have the Steam Room? I think I'm willing to a point to understand that I don't think we're gonna get inside the NBA like we do currently. But can we at least get the Steam Room, please? Keep the Steam Room going, because other than that, it's gonna be terrible. You know. So yeah, we don't want to have our nights filled with Big Perk, Malika, Stephen A, and Richard Jefferson. I like them, but
it's hard. I mean,
they're not inside the NBA,
right?
And I just thought about it, and this could be a potential casualty potentially in all this. Draymond Green. I ain't even think about that.
Yeah, because he was supposed to.
Yeah,
He was gonna be a part of the show, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
I don't know. Hopefully, they come
it
up with
is what it
something. There's
is.
really no, that's a top show. There's really no reason for them to lose them. You know what I mean?
I know.
Hope the NBA is smart.
Yeah, I just hope they cough up that money. $2.6 billion to outbid NBC. You know.
I actually think.
So staying in the association. Yeah.
Oh, I think that sometimes it
Uh,
ain't. I know you want to try new things. I know, like what you say, you want to give me, but sometimes you want to keep it the same. Like, always want to move stuff, man.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But it's the money aspect. That's what it is. This is what it ultimately boils down to. I mean,
right.
yeah. I mean, I think TNT. I think it's like 1 point. I think it's like they do like $1 billion annually to cover the games. Then you got NBC doubling that price. I mean, yeah. I
Right.
mean, I don't blame the NBA. So hopefully Warner Brothers can do a big one and take care of business. 2.6, 2.7. You know,
Right.
hey, GoFundMe, send a GoFundMe, some fish dinners. We'll help you out. Sure, I'm serious. I mean, I'll buy
Damn,
some
man.
fish. I'll buy some fish dinners. A double
No
double
NBA on no
WB.
NBA on TNT. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah,
That's
and
really.
that.
You see, remember Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Remember that Tuesday,
Yep,
Wednesday, Thursday.
yep. And now, yeah, but we shall see, and hopefully we'll get something going with that. So we'll stay in the association, and it's probably going to be it's a very interesting story in LA. Obviously, we knew that Darvin Ham was going to be let go, and it did happen on Friday. So Darvin Ham, in his 2 years, he did what he had to do. So obviously, he's no longer there. So there are some candidate lists that a lot of people are thinking who should be the next coach of the LA Lakers. There's a few on a lot of people's list. So I'm going to you first. Your thoughts on who will be the new coach for the Lakers next season? What you got?
First off, the player coach idea sucks. JJ Redick being the coach is horrible. He should at least be if anything, he can be an assistant. But come on, that's horrible, B. Okay, let's keep it real. I don't want to mess his name up, B. Mike
Coach
Budenhauser. I felt like
Bull.
he's a champion. I felt like the Bucks missing. I think he could deal with. I think LeBron will respect him enough. I was looking at his stats. He's 484. He's won 484. He lost 317. Coach of the Year 2015 and 2019. So I think that I thought it was unfair that he got fired. I think it was more or less. I want to say it's more or less about I think his brother had just passed, and I think he's ready to come back to the league. So I think he would be the best candidate. I think I'm gonna say Phil Handy. We was really hoping that they was gonna give it to him, but they said they let him go so he can have other opportunities. Did he get hired already somewhere?
Nah.
All right, so I was thinking Phil Handy. But I got, and then my wild card, I got Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
I don't see nobody talking about him, but I'm like, I ain't even see. I was looking up Milwaukee Bucks coaches. They don't even
Yeah.
have him near me.
Which is crazy because he coached. Hell, if it weren't for him, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking
Seriously.
at that, and I'm looking at if you really pay attention to if the Nuggets was the blueprint for the West, because one of the issues is it's not just defense; it's also you got to score. And I think if the Lakers would have had more scoring, like if Rui would have got 20 points, we would have won. Rui was averaging 9 points. So let me ask you a question. You coach. Why do you think they fired him?
I think because he's the scapegoat. And it's like one of those things where it's just that how it is with the league, where it's cheaper to get rid of him than to get rid of personnel or what have you. To me, I don't think he should have got fired.
I'm talking about
Because if
Adrian
you
Griffin.
Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay. Adrian Griffin. I think they said there was some rifts in between. Obviously with him and Giannis, and then you look at, and then who knows how him and Dame, because he had him and Terry Stouts, who was his coach in Portland, was pretty much they got an argument one day, and then they let Terry Stouts go. So it's kind of one of those where because you can't look at it from a record standpoint, like as far as why would you get rid of him. And I think it was just internally, and I think they just wanted to get rid of him, which it's stupid. I think it's just you can tell. Look at the decision that's being made. I think that's when the prisoners ran the asylum, and I hate to say it like that. Sound like the late.
Right.
This happens when the players control the narrative in a sense in that situation where you look at it. Where what did Doc do? Doc lost more games in less time than what Adrian Griffin did in half the season, because he was 30. They were 30-13. So he was at half the season,
right?
So
and it looked like something. I mean, just to piggy on, I know we talk about something else, but it looked like something needs to happen to humble Giannis, because his brother really shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? But anyway, I put Adrian Griffin. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is another one where I'm like, I think firing Darvin Ham, I think they're gonna really realize the grass ain't too green on the other side for this team. There are some great coaching candidates that are around, but I don't think they're gonna fit the mold of the LA Lakers. I think when I think about guys, and this is more so of guys I think who can be head coaches this year, that as far as I look at, like a guy like, I think Kenny Atkinson is deserving of another coaching job, but I just think this is the right situation for him. Like you said, Mike Budenholzer, I'm curious how that's going to work out, because will he get the control that he wants like he did in Milwaukee? So I'm curious about that. This is kind of a long shot. This could be a guy I think could happen. It's really going to be curious on, because Detroit's going to be hiring. They're going to hire a president of basketball operations, and will they keep Monty Williams? That's going to be kind of the key thing. If they decide not to keep Monty Williams, could he go to LA? I know he declined his job offer years ago when it was presented to him,
because he wanted 5 years.
Yeah, so that's the thing where if they let him go in Detroit, could this be a situation where he lands in LA potentially?
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just ad-libbing. Go ahead.
What happened?
I didn't know that because I thought Monty Williams, because I think Monty Williams showed in Phoenix that he was a deadly coach, and I'm like, he just dancing like he dying in Detroit. He should, you know what I mean? Like,
that roster's not the best.
Right.
But yeah. So I think if the opportunity presents itself and they let him go, this could be a situation where he could be fired on a Monday and be hired on a Friday by somebody, potentially. But I think all signs are pointing towards JJ Redick. And it's funny, and shout out to my class 2002 brethren, JJ Redick, and also my other class 2002 brethren, Rashad McCants. And he made a very compelling argument, and that I connected the dots together, because you look at how LeBron and JJ Redick had this new podcast, and they talk about play, and it's funny. Like, I feel like I think it's their 4th episode. I feel like these episodes are literally an audition for JJ Redick to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I really have that strange feeling. And then I think of everything that's going on in the circus that is with the Lakers, what's going to happen, obviously with them potentially drafting Bronny James potentially. I don't know about that, but it is what it is. And a lot of stuff is going to happen in the offseason. So it's starting to head that way. And it's one thing that it would have been kind of laughable a few days ago, but then now when you sit down, you think to yourself, this is a possibility, and this is where it's like, and you starting to, and I think the Lakers are going to realize the grass is not too green on the other side. I think you could have kept a guy like a Darvin Ham, where you still got to understand the fact. Yes, maybe people look at like this year as an underachieving season, but I mean, who who is out there that's going to take this team to the next level? There's no one. There's no coach that's
Mark
available
Jackson.
unless they're not going to do it. We already know the story about Mark Jackson, unfortunately, because I know he honestly he should have been a coach. He should have been a coach. He should have been still a coach of the other Warriors. So that lets me know that you don't want him in this league because there's plenty of job opportunities, that could have came his way, and especially all these young up and coming teams like he had in Golden State, he could have been a part of those teams. But we know he's blackballed from this league, unfortunately, and um, but yeah, to me, I think it's leaning towards JJ Redick. I can see him being the head coach. I mean, because I definitely think Mr. James is very involved in this process. And
For the first time, I usually I'd be like, 'cause they say like he really don't like doing it, but I think he feel like he might have to this time.
mhm.
I think before they was always saying. I think now you can literally see it. Like it's like okay, I don't got that much time, so I got to do what I need to do to get somebody in there. But yeah, man, like I don't know about JJ Redick.
Yeah, even because I like the only thing I think that's conceivable possible, and I know people are saying it either would have been Ty Lue, but he just signed an extension. Well, they're planning to sign an extension with the Clippers, so they did that to make sure he stays with the Clippers. The only two I can see that's conceivable is JJ Redick, Ty Lue, and then if Monty Williams get fired. Because I don't like it's guys it's coaches in this league that are going to get jobs, but I just don't think. Like I said, I think the Kenny Atkinson angle that's not going to work in LA, and I think the Mike Budenholzer thing, in my personal opinion, is not going to work out either. So, and I think even the three that we mentioned that are possible, that it's not going to work out either way. But.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where JJ Redick you know, goes to the Lakers, and your boy Pep Beverly could have messed up a bag.
I mean, me
You
personally,
know,
I felt like they went through something. They won a championship with Frank Vogel. I think once they did that, Rob Pelinka went to his head and he started making all these changes. Yeah, they saved some money, but there's a nucleus that they should have kept. You know what I mean? And that's not what he wanted to do. He seemed like to me, he want to keep LeBron, keep AD, and then he can get a couple of new stars. Get them paid like he got Reeves undrafted, and Rui was able to pay him somewhat, and
yeah,
then he got all these mid guys. You know what I'm saying that either about to opt out or they kind of like they just signed Wood. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you signed Vandy, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure hopefully D'Lo's gone. I think he was, anyway, I'm not upset about um I'm not upset about them getting rid of Ham because I really didn't see Ham make a true mark on the team. Like when I saw Vogel, I saw him make a mark. You know what I'm saying? But don't get me wrong, he was a Kentucky. It made sense. He was a Kentucky guy. He had Cousins there. He had Rondo there, and he had AD there. You know what I'm saying? And he was a video guy, so it was just certain things that you could tell they made his mark. You know what I'm saying? and they all had they all was a certain, they played a certain way, and they was number one in defense that year. It was just something about it was just it's something about him that it's something went clicking. You know what I mean?
And I mean, and you got to get him, and you got to think about it. He's only been there for 2 years, so that's one thing too.
Word,
Where,
word.
and you got to think about it. His roster was halfway through his
Right.
first year, so it's kind of.
It's not just him though.
It's.
It was
I know. I'm just saying.
it was
It's.
his
It's just.
assistants
It's too
too. Like,
early. It's.
yeah,
To me, it was just too early to make that call. And then I think you're gonna see where who you gonna have as a coaching candidate. Like it's not like a very attractive coaching market for this team.
when they started saying fire Darham, all the fans, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you should have known. Like, and for me, watching the documentaries about the Lakers, watching the winning time about the Lakers, in the end, they can say it's all about championships, but they want to make sure them fans, they want to keep feeling that illusion, just like the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like the Yankees, that we the greatest team of all time. Blah blah blah. Want to keep feeding that. So y'all won't. We can get another coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get another coach, but will that another coach take you to the next level? I don't think so.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm telling what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm really saying is they've been here before. When they went through it with Kobe, they had to go back and get Phil. You know what I'm saying? So what y'all gonna do now? Go back and get Frank Vogel? Because I don't think Frank Vogel should have been. Everybody was like, well, he's treating Westbrook like this. It wasn't Frank Vogel that benched Westbrook. It was the organization that wanted him to bench Westbrook. Frank said no. It was Darvin Ham that benched Westbrook. You know what I mean?
And what? Yeah.
No, I'm just saying in general.
No, I'm just saying,
like,
and
you're right. What you gonna?
he
Who
made
you
the
gonna get?
right, and that's gonna be the issue. And and I understand. Yeah, you want to. It's all about winning. And like to me, I guarantee you, I think, and they played Denver. They played a team in the first round that's gonna give them problems. So it's
Right.
like, and it's not. I don't think a Darvin Ham is going to cure them. They need they need other stuff other than the coach. But I think But good luck with JJ Redick.
And stop saying that, man. We not getting JJ Redick.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be JJ Redick because we know why.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
We know why. That podcast is the audition to let people know. Oh, well, you see how he breaks down film, he breaks down players, stuff like that. I'm telling you, they go. Telling you, man, it's gonna happen. Just don't be surprised.
Boy, don't you go get no damn JJ Redick. I'm sorry.
Whatever LeBron wants, he gonna get.
Hey, man, come on, don't start that.
Hey. So that means JJ Redick and Bronny James. Because that's what he want. And y'all, year 22 and 23, that's what he want. It's his final. You know how the Lakers do when they get guys, they in the twilight of their career, they're going to make sure they're good.
Right.
Same thing going to happen for LeBron.
Well, I just hope they make the right decision, man.
Yeah. And hopefully Darvin Ham goes back to Milwaukee. That's what I'm hoping. I hope he goes back to Milwaukee.
I mean, me personally, when they fired the coach, I was like, damn, it probably looked like that's probably what he should have been in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that, he is Milwaukee to me. And I felt like when they hired, especially after they fired Griffin, I was like, damn, I think that's what Darvin Ham should have been at.
Yep. Yeah, they need to just get rid of Doc, let him go back to his consulting role or whatever he was at with the Bucks, and then hire Darvin Ham. Because I think he's the only one I think can save the message that's going on in Milwaukee.
I believe if Doc stay there, I think Tobias Harris going there. I think that's the only time Tobias Harris play better.
You better save your money. But yeah, But yeah. So we'll put a bow on tonight's podcast. We'll do our game ball and final thoughts. We'll start our game ball first. Who gives this week's game ball for you?
Man, I really didn't have anybody, but I'm gonna give it to the legendary, iconic comedian Sinbad. I seen something today. He's recovering. He had a stroke a couple years ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, and a lot of comedians. He was in a wheelchair. He seems to like I seen a post on IG. He was like, man, thanking everybody, and that he's on the path back to healing. It's one of my favorite comedians. So I'm gonna give him the game ball, man. Seems like he's making his he's making his positive steps to get back to a full recovery.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I give mine to Victor Wembanyama, the unanimous Rookie of the Year. 21.4 points per game, 10.6 rebounds a game. And they had a nice, cool commercial. I think it was Fanatics, where they had him going to like this museum, and looking at some exhibits of past rookies of the year. But end up being, I think it was LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Grant Hill, David Robinson. As far as them giving him encouraging words for him winning the Rookie of the Year. So I always thought that was like kind of a cool thing to kind of, especially the older generation, giving him love and showing him love for his rookie year, and for him to meet the expectations. I think a lot of coming in, we was like, oh, he's gonna revolutionize the game. We knew coming in the hype, and he's lived up to the hype. I mean, you look at it from the standpoint just looking at his stats thus far in his rookie year, no telling how he's gonna be in 2, 3, 5 years from now. If he's doing this as a rookie, barring, as long as he keep his health going, he's gonna shatter records.
Right.
And it just looks so and the crazy thing about all this is he just makes it look so effortless. It's so crazy. But yeah, for sure. All right. All right, so final thoughts before we head on out. Also, final thoughts and also social media plugs. What you got?
Man, great show. Go Timberwolves. But great show, man. Can't wait till next week. Social media is DT Morgan 78 Instagram and Deshaun Morgan Facebook.
Yeah. Once again, another great show. So pretty much social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, X, Couch Coach Live, the website couchcoachlive.com, YouTube, Couch Coach Live. We're going to do some interesting stuff next week. Still trying to figure it out because while we do a live show on next Wednesday, the NFL schedule release is coming out. So we may push it, but I will announce that one day next, probably Monday or Tuesday, kind of figure that all out because the schedule release comes out next Wednesday at 8:00, so that coincides with our show. So, we'll figure out what day we'll do it, or might do 2 shows next week or whatever. But I'll keep you guys posted on social media on that as well. So this wraps up this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week, and we're out.
Welcome.